Hi guys, my name is Jose. I wanted to give you an introduction to how we are using in the team Trello boards to track progress and develop new ideas and so forth. So I wanted to show you first this Trello card. So this is an example of a Trello board for the Go Commons India group, and this is basically a slide that shows the approach to startups and product development. So the idea here is not just to develop a technical project or a hobbyist project, but it's really to try to develop a product, an integrated product vision, which includes the technology but also includes the business feasibility or project feasibility. So what you see here is basically the cycle, the loop that startups follow when they have an idea, and the recommendations. And the main takeaway is to fail as fast and learn as fast as you can. So the goal of a startup, which is not necessarily a company, a startup is a group that wants to become a company, a successful, stable company, for instance. Before becoming a successful company, you want to learn fast if your idea is feasible or not, right? And in that kind of thinking is that you build the ideas or hypotheses to learn if those hypotheses are true or not. So in that kind of thinking, what I did is that I created these templates to document product hypothesis or business hypothesis, whatever you like. In this context, we are talking about open hardware, so it's even more specific. So generating hypotheses about open hardware projects, right? So the idea with this template is that you have a couple of guidelines to document a full product hypothesis or set of hypotheses that you want to validate later, right? So for instance, what I did in this case is that I copied this card here and I put it in another list. So what you're seeing here actually is the template that I copied. So in this case, because I'm helping the guys in Go Commons India, they have an idea for an air purifier that is plant-based, right? So in here you say, okay, I try to facilitate what is the vision that they have in their product. So I try to explain a bit. For instance, what are the needs of associated to the product? Is it that they want to have sustainable and feasible solution in the context of India? Why is it that you want a plant-based purifier, and what is the specificities of this one? If there are already some ideas going on. So for instance, here in competitors, which it basically means that projects out there that are similar to yours, you should try to this is also a hypothesis. Are they competitors or not? You don't know. Are they selling or not? You don't know. Maybe it's just a project who never, so that's something you have to validate and check, right? And also here I put, for instance, sources of income. What are your ideas, your hypotheses about sustaining your project so that it's successful? So this is the example of the template. Now the idea with this is that once you have documented consistently several of those hypotheses, you should pick up the hypothesis that is more risky, so to say, or the ideas. The hypotheses that are riskier means that you choose something that you learn that is if you can overpass or you can make it happen, and it's still very risky, then your idea is alive. So you should try to focus on those hypotheses that are riskier. so that you learn fast and you don't make a big failure in the end, right? And then what I did is that, okay, you have this template for testing hypotheses, which means that you're gonna take one of these hypotheses and you're gonna try to document it consistently. Like for instance, we believe that an open hardware purifier will make a difference because people want to know how the product is made and maybe they want to assemble it themselves. That's a hypothesis, right? So to do that, what you can do, there are some ways of doing it. I'm gonna show you the reference here. Actually, let's keep in mind that idea. Okay, my open hardware purifier, plant-based purifier, is gonna be better than the other ones because people are gonna see the BOM and they're gonna be able to find local resources to make it. That's an example. Let's keep it as an example. Is it a critical idea or hypothesis in your whole proposal? Well, if you're working on an open hardware project, yes, you don't wanna avoid that question because it's what makes, in this case, for instance, the project special, right? So how are you gonna build that? Well, you don't have to build the product to find out that. Sometimes you can just make a survey, for instance, and the test that you make, you can assess how reliable is the data. Who are you asking the question? Have you validated with many people? That gives you more reliability the more people you have if you make a survey, right? And then you're gonna measure for a certain time. If you send, for instance, a survey, then you're gonna then it is going to require very little to make the survey, but it's going to take you some time to send it out there and get some data, right? And then you set up a criterion of what makes this hypothesis right. Well, if you get, I don't know, 50 answers or 1,000 answers, you say, okay, I'm right. I have got this feedback from the market or user segment I was working on. So it means that we have validated to a certain extent the idea, right? Once you have done that, you can actually document your progress as a learning. And this is the card for learning. Okay, let's see if I can open it better here. All right. So it doesn't matter, right? So you have a hypothesis, you believed it, you observed that people, for instance, told you that, yeah, I'm not so interested in the fact that it's open hardware, but I'm interested in the fact that the costs are shared. I can see how many items, how it's designed, how it's built. I can, for instance, modify it or redesign it. Those are observations, and we learned that, for instance, maybe the most critical is not that it's open hardware, but is that it's addressing the pockets of people in India that cannot buy the other competitors, for instance, just to give you an example. So once you do that, then you say, okay, what are the next steps that I'm going to do? Am I going to validate another hypothesis? Am I going to build a prototype? Am I going to raise funds? And the point with all this is to just be consistent in your progress, right? So that you move from to do to done, and then you have the sprints. If you want to work with sprints, this is editable. But the whole point is to focus on progress of your idea as a product that solves a problem of someone. Not as a technical project exclusively, not as a hobbyist project, not as a maker project, which are also great projects and are interesting. But the point with this board template is to focus on the product development cycles, right? As if you were a startup. I hope this video liked you, and I would like to get some feedback if you want to improve it. If you think something is not clear, please let me know.